A state law banning drag shows was supposed to go into effect today, but it's now on hold after a federal judge temporarily blocked the bill. The law, Senate Bill 12, bans sexually oriented performances in front of children. LGBTQ advocates argue the bill's definition of performances is too broad. Supporters of the bill say it protects children and upholds public decency. Joining me in studio this morning to talk more about this controversial law is Houston drag artist Queen Angelina. Queen Angelina, welcome. Good morning.
Hi, good to see you again.
Thanks for coming in. I know last time you were here, we were talking about Pride events. Today's not necessarily prideful in that the subject at matter is not something that you are necessarily happy about or proud of.
Exactly. And unfortunately, it attacks things like pride that, for example, if I'm in the parade and I'm just walking through, what's it to say to them that I'm breaking the law, in that moment.
I know this law impacts you greatly. What are some of the ways that you are affected?
So, for example, we are already seeing the effect of this. I saw this at the end of June, after coming to you with the show. I was planning a show with BP Oil Company, and they canceled it because they had complaints inside the company. And that's a public corporation. But here they're saying that they're trying to protect children. But something with like Drag Queen Storytime, I'm there to read to the children, I'm there to play the violin. So it's a totally different kind of type of thing.
Yeah,
sure.
we're not talking about the typical brag brunch. We're not talking about those types of shows.
Yes, and y'all can see there, I was playing Let It Go to the children. And even though we believe that it's up to the parents to see that come to the show, to come watch it, and for them to decide if it's something that they think it's appropriate for their children. At the end of the day, we don't think these laws should be existing. We think that we should just let the parents do what they think is good for their children.
Mm-hmm. Does this law jeopardize your safety?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when we were doing Drag Queen Storytime, we had protesters outside. They were pretty violent and pretty loud. We were scared. But also, this is my livelihood. This is my job. For example, I did shows at Discovery Green for Pride throughout the year, and that's something that I'm not going to be able to do. And also in universities, I went to go talk to the kids. We did drag shows, and I went to go share my experience and my story, and that's just something that we might not be able to do now.
I do want to ask you, how many performances throughout your career have you done in front of children?
Maybe just a handful, just Drag Queen Storytime, but Pride was also a thing.
Are those shows tailored differently from other shows that you put on?
Or for example, something with Pride, absolutely. Yeah. When you're at Discovery Green, you're outside in the public, and it's something that we also discuss with the companies on what we should be putting on. They accept it, and we go on through with it.
No, I ask these questions because I think, for some people, their concern comes from perhaps their own bias. I don't know where their concerns come from. But I think the point of this appearance here is to have a conversation. And it's for you to state your side and how you feel and what you want people to know about how this law impacts you, but what you want people to know about what it is you do.
And we know that this is a direct attack towards our queer community, especially towards trans people, towards queer people. I myself identify as non-binary, gender fluid. So we know that this is not something that is geared towards, a law that is not geared towards cheerleaders, for example, or theater, but it is going to affect them as well, unfortunately, because the law is so broad that they are scared themselves. Female wrestlers, cheerleaders, and people in theater that also do drag, or for example, Peter Pan, or in Hairspray, there's also a role that is cross-dressed inside of the play. So the law is so broad that it just doesn't affect us, but we know this is a direct attack on us for sure, and my livelihood as a person.
I know you've been having a lot of conversations with people in the community, elected officials. What do you want people to know when it comes to your stance? What do you want people to know?
We just want people to be better educated. We really need them to be doing their research and to really leave us alone, to let us live our lives. People aren't really thinking about how this really does affect us mental health wise. And I'm even thinking about leaving Texas at this point because I'm not sure if I can take it anymore.
Moving to a state that
Yes.
supports this community.
Yes, and that's the thing too. We really need y'all to vote. We live in a purple state at the end of the day. Houston is blue and Texas is red, and we need people to be on our side because we know they're on our side. And also we are hoping that the judge definitely takes the judgment in our favor and that he knows that this is going to be the right thing to do for history.
Talking with parents, there are many parents who have questions. They have concerns. Are you welcome? Are you open to having conversations with them to address those questions and concerns when it comes to drag, when it comes to queer life, when it comes to the LGBTQ community?
Absolutely. You know, we're here to educate. We're here, we're against the fear mongering. And at the end of the day, if you don't want to bring your children to drag shows, don't, you know? And it's up to the parents to decide if they want to take their children or not.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else before we let you go?
Hello, everybody. And don't forget to celebrate Pride every day. And we're just so proud of the kids outside of KDISD for protesting. That is a huge thing to do, especially here in Houston. We are so proud of y'all.
Queen Angelina, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate your time.
Thank